I'm Abraham A, and this is RET in the morning. And
Today, we will conclude our discussion of the tale of Genji by relating it through traditions and encounters by Jerry Bentley.
so, alright, take it off.
Alright, first of all, in the tale of Genji, we see the main characters, Genji and Yugao, communicating through the use of poems. This is very clearly borrowed from Chinese culture, in which the scholar gentry and members of the peasant class communicated through the use of poems. Abraham?
Thank you, Ari. That was amazing. And most of those poems also gave off Buddhist and Taoist like tones, which they borrowed from China. Now, alright, let's talk about the patriarchy.
Yes.
Now, as we all know, China was quite the patriarchal society.
Quite the patriarchal society.
Yeah. And Japan, being the selective borrowers that they are, they also, along with poetry, borrowed patriarchy. We see elements of this through the chapter Yu Gao, where often females are
largely subservient to their male counterparts.
Exactly. For example, when
I'm sure there are some in there that we can't think of them.
But actually, I think we can. When Yugao, for example, when the Genji talks with Yukon, they freaking say how Genji says how it's not his fault that he had to hide, that she shouldn't have hid her name, and she shouldn't have hid her name from him. She should have said that, hey, Genji, I love you, and I'm Yugao. That's my name. I shouldn't be the fisherman.
That is pretty patriarchal.
And more importantly, Ari, if I am correct, it showed patriarchy, or another very important theme that my hero Jerry Bentley
and colleague
show is the low class versus high class debate.
There is a clear schism between these two classes.
Oh yes, quite a large schism actually.
A big part of the story is how Genji has to take great secrecy in being with Yugao.
In fact,
namely because of her low class.
Exactly. In fact, the introduction of this great Japanese literature by Murasuke Shikibu says that frequently Genji and his chums, friends, if you will, they frequently made fun. They would classify women, and they didn't think lowest class were even part of it. And to conclude with that part, Genji actually came into that town with bare feet and none of his hip, cool, silk-like gentry clothes. And lastly, we will end this linkage, if you will, to Jerry Bentley by the Buddhism and honor. The Buddhism and honor.
We did that already.
For example, he talks to the old nurse about the different levels of paradise, or what they call paradise. And this might have been a reflection of the Mahayana Buddhists, or the salvation that they might have borrowed, which they in turn turned into Zen Buddhism. And lastly, it ends with Yukon, how Genji says how about his honor and reputation would end if anyone knew that he was with Yugao. So that concludes our correlation with Bentley. I'm Abraham A, and this is
I'm RT, and this is Jerry Bentley's Traditions and Encounters.
It is the perfect gift for those who want to buy Christmas gifts for her or he, or.
Alright, let's end it. Good night.
Good night, folks.